morning, folks, and welcome to another great edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own Money Truth expert and whisper, Judy Copenbarger. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you, Carlos? Happy December. I can't believe
Happy
it.
December. Hey, we're very festive today. I can see your tree right next to you. That's awesome. We got it
We
all
are,
laid out for you.
yes, we are in the spirit of the season and ready. I like to do all that stuff early so we can really enjoy the holidays and do the cooking and the visiting and not fuss with it. So everything goes up right after Thanksgiving.
That's awesome. And at some point, folks, we're going to be talking about Christmas traditions and so forth. But today is not that day. Today, we want to get you guys started on what we're trying to get you guys December ready, right? Cleaning up your finances before the year's ends. And so if you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.today. There is a wealth of information, free resources, folks, that we'll talk a little bit more about later on in the show. But because I don't want to run out of time, that always happens. We're on a great subject. What do you say we get started, Judy?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, so let me start off by asking you, why is the week right after Thanksgiving such a good time to pause and check in on our finances?
Oh, it's just we're in the mode of setting intention, aren't we? We're getting our menus together. We're figuring out what meals we're going to have, what relatives are going to show up, who's bringing what to the potluck. I don't know about you, but we moved the furniture around, cleaned the carpets, got everything ready to bring in the decorations. It's kind of like we're setting the intention for this season, for the connections that we're going to have and the memories that we're going to make and the experiences that we want to have for ourselves and our families. So why not financially do that too? Let's clean up and get ready for what's going to be new. And this is a great time of year, right? We have a month left almost a month left to get everything that we can done to wrap up 2025 with success and with the outcome that we really would love to have. And then get ready for 2026 at the same time.
Something that, as you're talking about this, also that came to mind is, what are some of the benefits of getting a small head start before December officially, like, it's in full bloom?
Yeah, well, you have time. There's still time to make year-end contributions to your SEP IRA or your work IRA, or set up something at your office if you have your own company. You still have time to make charitable contributions to help with the tax bill and really make a difference. You still have time to do some of those tax planning things, and you can prepay expenses also. Prepay your mortgage or prepay some business expenses to get that high income tax down for this year. There's still time to do some of those things.
We talked about in our previous episodes, and folks, you have to watch some of the previous episodes, but we did talk about Black Friday. We did talk about stress and, how situations sometimes get out of hand. So how can our listeners keep this process very simple instead of making it so stressful?
Well, you know how you eat an elephant, little bites, right? Try not to make it overwhelming because that does become really stressful. And then the other day I saw something I thought was pretty cute but apropos, and it said, the reason we're stressed is because we have the word backwards. If you turn it around, it's desserts.
There
So
you go.
don't be stressed and make sure there's enough desserts in your life, which is funny for me because I'm not really a dessert or sweets person anymore. I think in my early life, I did plenty of that, but yeah, I thought that was kind of cute. But yeah, you want to just avoid the overwhelm. There's enough going on this season. We're trying to make sure we have the outfits and the decorations and all the stuff. So eat the elephant in little bites. So try this on. How about week 1? You've got 4 weeks here, or you could even do it in January, but I like not procrastinating, right? Identify a plan of action that's really going to work for you. What information are you going to need? Do you need to get phone numbers of tax people, phone numbers of insurance people, phone numbers of the HR? What extension are they? Do you need to ask people for references? What's your plan of attack? Week 1, just do that little bit. Take that little bite. And then say, okay, that was pretty good. Now I'm ready. Got my list and I got my phone numbers, no excuses, right? Week 2, use those phone numbers, make the appointments that you need, prioritize the most important tasks. Do I need to work on taxes? Do I need to work on the benefits at work? Do I need to work on rebalancing my investments or starting some new investments? Just do that. What are the most important tasks? Is it about tax? Is it about investments, protection? That's like legacy, will, trust. If you don't have them, should you? Things like that. Are my insurances right? Do I have my property titled right? Are my bank accounts set up the way they should be? All that stuff. So all you're doing is making appointments and beginning the work in week 2. Week 3, execute. That's where you show up for your appointments, you take your notes, you take your action, no procrastinating. And then week 4, you celebrate the progress you've made already. Just lean into, I did good. Maybe I didn't finish everything, but I'm on track and I got the ball rolling. Communication is happening and I know what I need to do. The information is gathered and now like the research part. Now I can write the paper, right? So week 4, celebrate what you've done. That's pretty simple. Those are little bites of an elephant, right? But it does move the ball toward the goal line. It gets you closer to where you want to go. Try that. How about that?
And I'm glad that you're sharing this too. But I also want to have you talk a little bit about this planning, right? That also for the business side of it, as we get closer to the end of the year, we talked about some of the personal stuff on there. What are some things you can share with business owners too, as we're wrapping up the year?
For like expenses?
Our expenses or different things that we need to make sure that we have everything in order. Like you said, planning ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really great question. It's the details, it's the stuff business owners, we don't like to do that. We like to do what we do. We like to talk about what we talk about. We like to provide the services. If we're doing products, we started the business because we're passionate about our product line, right? So we like to do the fun part, the operations part of our business. Maybe not so much the accounting and the protecting and the compliance and the legal stuff. We don't really like to do all that stuff. We want to do the fun parts, right? So this is a time to really maybe pull together, muster up all the discipline that you have and say, let's do that. Do I need to do something about tax? Maybe it's time to get a fractional CFO or to get a bookkeeper or to have my bookkeeper and my CPA talk to each other and take some of that off of me. A few years ago, I gave access of my bank accounts to my bank accounts to my bookkeeper. And I said, you go in there, you pull the information you need, you put it together, put it in the spreadsheets, do all this stuff, get it ready for tax time. And what a load off my shoulders. And it was a long-term relationship. So I felt like security was great. It has saved me so much time, headache. When there's a question, I can answer the question. And other than that, I don't think about it until it's time to review documents. What a blessing. What a blessing. So, should you be withholding more from your paychecks or less now with the tax changes? Most people are paying less tax. So maybe taking a look at that, taking a look at your investments. Are they balanced the way they should be? Should I be investing more? Am I on track to achieving the goals that I have in the future? Retirement goals, am I on track for those things? Should I be contributing more to those things? Should I be giving more? Is there room to be giving more and having an impact on the causes that I care about? So all of those things, those are some areas that people might want to really think about reviewing as they're getting into the end of the year and the planning and the mopping up, right? Cleaning up and getting ready for what's new.
Folks, if you are just joining us, welcome. Make sure that you're following Judy at judycopenbarger.today. You have to watch the beginning of the show. We are focusing on getting December ready, cleaning up our finances before the year ends. And as Judy she's covered a lot from the personal side of it. Now we just finished the business side of it. So make sure that you share the stream with somebody that could utilize some of this refresher stuff that we're talking about. So having said that, how can someone tell if their spending needs need to be adjusted before the holiday pickup? Because it's hard, right? You get lost in the shuffle and life and everything in between.
Yeah, it's just being intentional. And it is hard because the advertisers are coming after you and there's all these deals. We just had the Monday deal and the Tuesday deal and the Black Friday deal and all that stuff. And we talked about that the last couple of weeks. So, when I think you need to start with your mindset. Like it's possible to not overspend during a holiday season like this. If you're honest with yourself and with the other people around you, look for some accountability. Say, look, we're going to spend X dollars this time. That's what we're going to spend. We might have to get creative. We might have to divide it differently, but let's be creative about it. A lot of families will draw names and they'll just do one nice gift for one person. Everybody gets something and the spirit of giving is still there, but you're not doing all the crazy stuff and trying to think of what can I buy that one? So there's something to open and I'm not that guy, that didn't bring the right thing. But have some accountability. It's a good time to also plan for next year. If you don't like how it's going or has gone already this year, think about next year. And just approach the holidays with the right spirit. The purpose is connecting at our house, right? Everybody's got different values, but it's connecting and it's creating memories. And now that we have little grandkids, making it magical for them. And sometimes it's about the boxes and the bows. It's not even what's in it. The little ones, they just want to open something and play with the box. But you want to create those memories and remember what this season's for. It's about just being together and, smelling the wonderful things coming out of the kitchen and all of that. But you don't have to overspend. It's totally possible to do that. Little creativity, a whole lot of intention, and you can do this.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're sharing all that, because also we talked about, sometimes when we're shopping, right? Like, how do you not feel guilty or what, I'm giving this person a little bit more than I'm giving this other person and so forth, which kind of leads me to my next question, and is, can you talk about the year in generosity and how to give wisely, right? Without that guilt trip or that.
Well, there's giving inside the family and giving outside the family. So inside the family, I would say that's your friends, your family, the gifts, the things that you exchange and all of that. But I think this is a great time of year to reflect on more than that. What are we really here for? Are there causes that we care about? Generosity with people maybe that are outside of our family, people we don't know, strangers, charities. It's a time that, obviously it's easy to, hand somebody some cash or write a check to the church or write a check to the veterans or whatever. But what about stocks? If you have stocks that are highly appreciated, and a lot of people do, I have a lot of clients out of my San Jose office, Silicon Valley, their companies have just blown up and the stock values are crazy. So there's a big tax issue there for some of them. So what if you gave stocks, or what if you are retirement age, you give directly from your IRA and avoid the taxes. So these are tax plays that also allow you to be generous with charities and things like that. You can give a car, you can give property, you can give your time, you can give in-kind things. So let's say there's some kind of a charity that's having well, I was just thinking about a neighbor that does food for Thanksgiving. We just had that, and people drive through and get their, free meals for their family and their friends. And so we were able to donate food for that. So here's some potatoes and here's some cans of this and here's a turkey and things like that. So food, clothing, and kind gifts means it's just an item. Even things in your garage, go donate them to the Salvation Army or something, right? Get your write off, but really make a difference. Stuff that you're storing anyway, you're not going to use, but it has value. Years ago, we figured out that we had old printers that we weren't using anymore for whatever reason. They break down or they don't do the services that we need. And we had all this ink that was still good. It hadn't auto expired. It was all this ink. And we found out that was really valuable to donate. People wanted it, high demand. So things like that. And we were just storing it. And at some point it would have expired and gone in the trash bin. So it's a good time to talk about generosity outside the family, as well as with the people that we are close to, our inner circle, and the people that we love and care about.
That's powerful. And that's something that I think a lot of us need to start thinking about and putting into practice, because like I said earlier too, we just get lost in this whole mix of life and everything, going 1,000 miles an hour and so forth. But I would say that, in your opinion, what is a quick checklist, like a mental checklist someone can use to clean up their finances before before the end of the month?
Oh boy, write it down. Whatever you're going to do, make a plan and write it down. So, have a plan for if you have a debt issue or you're trying to avoid one, have a debt repayment strategy. What is my plan? Even if it's a long term, 6 months, a year, maybe years before I get this thing paid off, you want to have a plan. I'm going to add an extra $50, an extra $200 a month, whatever, to this credit card and then this account or whatever it is. If you have that in writing, every month you'll see your progress and your benchmarks toward that debt repayment. That'll give you a lot of confidence. And I think what it does for people is it also helps you not make it worse. And going into the season, it gives you a perspective. I really don't want to have to do this longer or do this more and have more of an impact on my monthly expenses. I want to get a handle on it, and I have a plan in writing. Another thing that you can do is put in writing an expense plan. So here come the holidays. I've got the food stuff. I've got the travel stuff. I've got the gift stuff. I've got Oh, decorations and hospitality gifts. You can't show up empty-handed, right? Extra childcare, maybe extra gas in the tank because you're running around more. Those taxes are always due this time of year too. Property taxes. One payment was already due, another one's coming up. Maybe you have insurance premiums that come up, and those are always, good size. So it's a really good time to be intentional about not only the debt repayment, but the planning for the expenses that you're in right now. Because if you don't, you just spend it here and there and here and there, and you end up putting these numbers on credit cards. And in January, you get your bill, and you're in that place where, and I've been there. It's been a little while, but I've been there. I'm spinning. I've been here before. It's like I've been here. I've been here. I've been here. I wasn't going to do it, and I did it. And now we got this big bill. So we're going to spend the next 3, 4, 5 months paying off the fund that we had in December. And I can't really get traction and get ahead financially. So if that's you, just don't do it, right? Nike, just don't do it. But if you put a plan in writing and you stick to it, that's accountability, not only to others, but to yourself. And I think that really helps curb spending that might happen that is unintentional, and really have you be able to track your progress and feel like you're making some progress there.
So I know we're getting close to the end of the show, so I'm going to try to squeeze in one last question for you. And I think for me and a lot of listeners, I think this is important. Is what would you say to someone who feels like it's too late to get organized?
It's never too late. I would say start small and start with the outcome that you want in mind. What is the ideal outcome? Where do I want to be a year from now, 5 years from now, something like that? What the outcome will do is keep you focused. Starting small will help you keep it simple. And there's no reason to ever become overwhelmed this time of year, right? This is the time of year to celebrate, to be present, to not be worried or stressed. And if you're already there, let it go and plan now for next year. What if you put a little bit of money away every paycheck or every year, all year long, a little bit, not enough that you would even notice. And then come to November and it's time to, do the Christmas shopping and the holidays are here. And now you've got a bundle of money to start and credit cards are not necessary. What would that be like? So you could create that. You start now, start in January, and you can create that for next year.
All right, folks. And I did mention it is the end of the show. And you know what that means. It's our Money Through Challenge, and we begin with December. So what do you got for our first week for a challenge?
Okay, here's your challenge to put in writing your plan for the expenses of all the extra stuff, the decorations, the travel, the gifts, the hospitality gifts, all the extra stuff that's going to happen in the next 4 or 5 weeks. Put a plan in writing for that expense, just like it's a business, right? What am I going to spend on all these categories? And extra credit, if you do have debt and you really would like it to go away, put in writing your plan for that debt repayment strategy. You can do this. Happy holidays.
All right, you guys, you've heard the challenge. Please let us know if you have any questions. Don't forget, we are here every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. with the replays on Thursday at 8 p.m. And if you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.today. There's a lot of great free resources out there that you guys are just going to benefit and you just need to get in there. That's the bottom line. That's the only way you're going to really get right down to it. So, Judy, any last parting words?
Yeah, don't be stressed. Just flip it and have more desserts. You're going to be good. Enjoy
All right, folks,
Christmas season.
until next week. Take care, you guys.